Recently, when I uploaded my ability items video, the most frequent question I received at the time was, which ability items are the best to use in the game? Now, I firmly believe that I've come up with the 7 general best ability items to use. So, I'm gonna go over those now. These are pretty much the only ones you'll ever need. That's it. Use them. So, going over the item setup. God of Destruction's Training. Greatly increases maximum health. Very valuable to have. Works incredibly well with Dende's healing ability. Next we got Blast Attack Boost 3. Greatly increases blast and ultimate blast attack power. Now what this doesn't tell you is that when it says blast, it means special attacks. So that's a fuck up on the dev's part, and it's sure to cause a lot of confusion. I'm one of those players that got confused by this. Next we got Dende's healing ability. Health gradually recovers during battle after some time passes. Now if you're in team matches, there is another item just like this, called Warming Up. You really don't need it though, because you heal plenty while your allies are on standby anyway. So just stick with Dende's healing ability and God of Destruction Training, and you'll be good. Next we got Dragon Spirit. Increases skill gauge recovery. Self-explanatory, this is very good to have, because let's say that both of you are just standing there and doing nothing for whatever reason. By the time you get to your first skill point, your opponent is only 75% up to theirs, and it takes about 10-ish seconds for you to get your first skill point of just standing there and doing nothing. So, it makes a difference and will definitely add up. I would recommend using this very much with the secret to counters, which we'll get into shortly. Next we got Speed Up. Reduces ki needed for short dashes. For a lot of your movement and tech, you're going to be using this the most. You're going to be using it far more than you're going to be using Dragon Dashing and Z Dashing. Now, for Dragon Dashing, you're not really going to use a whole lot. You're going to use it very briefly and very rarely. You're going to use it less than you would use something like Z Dashing. Now, the problem with Z Dashing is, besides counting 1 of 5 key bars to use, is it's easily countered by sidestepping and by opponents using their own Z-Dash as well. I personally don't really use it a whole lot unless my opponent is downed after I've gotten them into a good combo, finish off with a super or ultimate attack, and then I Z-Dash right behind them so I can continue applying pressure. Next we got the secret to counters. Reduce the skill count needed for super counters by 1. This is another fuck up on the dev's part. Super counters are that thing where you tilt forward and hit the attack button in tandem at the same time. Revenge counter is what uses up your skill points. So instead of using 2 skill points, you'll be using 1. This is hugely advantageous for any player, whether you're just playing offline for fun, like me, doing custom battles, or even doing a player versus player. This will greatly help you. And then finally, we have God Ki. Cuts ki needed for blast by half. This includes all super attacks. And let's say you whip one, oops, you get a little bit of ki back in return for it. So there you have it. What I consider to be the 7 best ability items in the game. Now you could make an argument for, let's say, Rising Fighting Spirit, but here's the issue with it. Once the battle starts and you get your full 5 bars of ki, that's it. It stops being useful. Waste of an ability item slot in my opinion. Then we have Latent Power. Now you could make a case for this. If you want to, you can get rid of the Speed Up for it. Me personally, I'm not going to do so. Now, as slow as it takes for Dende's healing ability to proc, I haven't extensively tested latent power enough to know how significant the defense boost is. I highly doubt it's going to be that much, though. And I don't really want to rely too much on getting very low on health to the point where I need to start relying on that. At that point, I'm just going to switch out or try to make a comeback, or use my other tools such as super counters or revenge counters. It's kind of planning to fail, if you ask me, to get that low to the point where you actually need to get the thing to be useful. But hey, if you really think it'll make that much of a difference, go for it. Let me know down below for anyone who actually bothered to extensively test latent power. I'm personally not going to bother. Now, another one you can make an argument for is what I like to refer to as the skill issue ability item. Of course, I'm referring to Mirage as soon as I can find the damn thing. There we go, Mirage. Automatically dodge Mirage Blast after dodging one with a high-speed movement or high-speed evasion. Not everyone uses those, and it's really not that difficult to time vanishes against these Mirage Blasts. Like example, against ones used by Metal Cooler, that thing where he extends his finger out and he shoots a bunch of clusters of small ki blasts at you. If you know your timing and you practice well enough, should be a non-issue. Shouldn't have to rely on Mirage. Now, another one that could be really beneficial to you is Fighting Spear. Increases ultimate blast attack power the lower your health becomes. Once more, though, you're relying on being really low on health to use this, so that's a double-edged sword, much like latent power. Neither of these are going to help you very much if you're getting comboed to death anyway. Style the Strong is really not all that useful. It only makes your sparking gauge in sparking mode last 4 seconds longer tops, when it already lasts like anywhere from 18, 19 seconds, maybe even 20 tops. Which is still a huge amount of time. You don't need that. I mean, that's pretty much it, aside from maybe Divine Blow. Increases ultimate blast attack power. If you're worried more about that, then go ahead and use it. Hang on, let me see something here too. I mean, that's a pretty sizable boost. I think the boost on Blast Attack boost is actually a little bit more. You're good on just that anyway. It's really not that much of a boost even with this. I've tested the damage differences on Yajirobe's... I forget the name of the attack. Let me go see him real quick. I've tested the difference on his Kablam attack. It's like an additional 10-20% at most, maybe. At least in his case. I would need to test it. But anyway. Yeah, really not that much of an increase from what I noticed. Like, by default, it did 5733. And then it did, like, I don't know, 63, 6400, anywhere around there. Wasn't really all that much of an increase. I got Blast Attack Boost 3 on there because it also boosts your ultimate attack. So the fact that it's boosting both your special and ultimate attacks, very, very helpful. Now, one last thing that I could possibly recommend is Almighty Boost. It's a slight increase to 5 things. Pretty huge, so if this is more your style, run this. And then these two, most of you are not going to have these. I have no idea how I even got these. By the way, I tested out Victory Power. It's supposed to slightly boost blasting, or in this case, special attacks. Tested it on Yajirobe, guess what? It didn't do shit. So I really don't think this works very well, and I think the stats, like off to the right, aren't entirely accurate either. But that stuff out of the way, I want to give a couple of thank yous and mentions to Kingu from the official Sparking Zero Discord server. This guy's very knowledgeable and also a very good player. You can find him. He's one of the mods over in the Sparking Zero Discord server. Very easy to find. And then one other thank you and mention I want to bring up. There we go, is down on my luck. Now, this is useful because it tells you pretty much all the ins and outs of every single character in the game's kit. It's going to tell you which moves are blockable, which ones count as waves, which ones count as rush attack types, super attacks, or special attacks. It's going to tell you what their skills do, what the buffs do, like how much they buff your character, and how long they last. It's just super helpful. It even tells you like how long they last. So, you know, that's definitely worth looking into. I'll put a link to this down in the description for anyone who wants to check it out. But that's going to do it for the ability items video. Hopefully this was helpful and intuitive for some of you. I'm going to go and get some shut out here. Peace out.